Our guests today are best known under the names Billy Santoro and Seth Santoro, who have starred in many adult gay films as An Offer He Can't Refuse, Houseboy Part 2, Predator, So You Think You Can Fuck, Daddy's Club Part 5, and the family beach blanket comedy Gay Watch. What does it feel like to hear all those wacky titles for you guys' movies?
Oh, God. There's better ones out there, too.
What's your favorite porn film you've ever made, Billy?
The Upper Hand with Men at Play.
What was it so memorable and good?
It was a three-way, first of all, and it was a poker game. And basically...
That was the premise?
The premise was I was playing poker, and Scott Hunter ran out of money, but I didn't want him to leave because I still wanted to play poker. So I said, well, put your watch on the table. Put your shirt on the table.
And did you win?
Of course I won.
What did you win?
That was the premise. Scott Hunter money. I didn't.
Sorry, Siri.
What?
Siri accidentally heard everything.
She's reporting on us. Oh my God.
That's the first time that's ever
She's
happened.
pulling up a clip right now.
And so you were playing poker with him and you eventually got him all naked and he
Yes.
lost and so then you got to fuck him.
Yes.
But I want to know about Gay Watch. Who's the Pamela Anderson in this family?
Obviously, Topher DiMaggio was the Pamela Anderson.
Why?
there.
Because he's Canadian?
No, because he's the pretty
Stupid?
one.
He's
got big-
He's
big
the pretty
tits.
dumb. He's the
my
pretty
gosh.
dumb one. So yes, he was definitely the Pamela Anderson and the star.
He has
So-
chest implants.
Now, Billy and Seth, both of you guys have listened to our podcast for years. And amazingly, you still got involved in porn.
right?
How did you guys actually come to become porn stars as throughout your lives? Did you meet together first and then become porn stars?
Yeah. I met Billy when I moved up to Seattle, and we hadn't done anything X-rated like that. But how many? Like 8 months into our relationship, we were like, he was like, "Oh, let me film me fucking you and everything." I was like, "Okay."
So it's Billy who's got the, documentation.
Yeah.
Billy's a pig.
He's the one that turned you out.
Yeah, because me growing up in a small town, kind of out in the boonies, porn was my connection to the gay world and everything, and that's what I idolized. That's what I liked. So it was always in my head. So when the opportunity came up, and Bill was like, "Oh, let me film you," I was like, "Okay, this is fucking hot. He likes me. He wants to film me." So, and then it was just for our own personal collection, but then all of a sudden he was like putting it up on Twitter and everything, and I was like, okay, my face isn't in it and everything. But then people started actually responding to it and saying, "Oh my God, that's so hot, I want to see more." And then porn studios started hitting us up as well, and they're like, "Oh, we would like to do a Skype interview with you and everything, and we want to meet you and fly you out here in places and whatnot."
Is that how most porn companies today recruit or find new talent? Is through the internet and through hookup apps, or?
There's varied methods. Some people actually actively seek out porn studios because they watch it, say, "Oh, hey, I want to try that shit out. Let me do it." And so they'll go approach agents or the studios themselves, or I don't know. Sometimes the studios will seek out those people because there's a lot of mainstream models who had never done anything X-rated who end up transitioning into porn because the studio reached out to them and told them the money is good.
Yeah.
So
And Billy, you had the same start. I mean, because you're in a relationship with each other, and you say, "Hey, remember that film I made?"
Yeah. Well, I had kind of I kind of forced it a different way.
Yeah.
I knew Seth was a little obsessed with porn. I never really watched a lot of porn. And I had been approached at a young age, at 17, 18 years old, when I used to volunteer at gay and lesbian film festivals by Chi LaRue, saying, "You should do porn." And I was like, "I'm going to school."
She turned you out.
Kinda, but not. She was like, "You need to do porn," and then walked away from me. And I was like, "Well, I'm going to school."
Well, she says that to everybody.
Yeah, she says that to everyone. And then, I was getting at an age where I was getting the itch. I wanted to try it. It was on my bucket list. And
Can I ask you how old you were?
I'm 30
time?
at the time, 37.
Okay,
36,
so it's
37.
not that long ago then.
No, not that long ago at all. And I knew that Seth was like, he knew by the penis exactly which porn star it was, which film it was. Like, he is an aficionado.
I had hard drives full of porn that I just had. So I knew everything about everybody.
Seth, what's your favorite porn?
Well, it My favorite porn.
Because I know what I like, but I want to know what you like.
Well, it's changed. But my favorite official porn was from the start was Dreams of Raphael. It was Black Scorpion Studios, and Raphael Alencar was my first porn crush. And then things kind of came full circle because when I first did porn with Lucas Entertainment, they're like, "Oh, who's your favorite porn stars?" I wrote down Raphael Alencar. The next scene, they booked him for me. I was like, "Oh,
I need to start getting involved in porn.
Yeah. What was that like, getting to fuck your porn idol?
it's crazy." I mean,
was it as hot as you expected it to be, or was it? Because I know sometimes porn's work.
Yeah, it was.
You know?
It was work, but then the porn scene that I'd filmed with him, it was very tame. It was supposed to be passionate. It was called something love, but that was a theme. It was on Fire Island, and it's that very softcore porn on the beach. You see the waves and everything, and he's fucking me on.
So it was like a porn parody of Larry Kramer's play. What was that called? Was that Fires from the
Normal Heart?
The Normal Heart.
I guess.
It's like porn romance.
But I mean, he's got a huge dick, and I told him, I was like, I'm not very experienced with big dicks. I'm gonna have to ride your dick before we get on camera. So we were downstairs in the room, and he was like getting into it, and he was really rough with me, and I was like, "Fuck, this is what I like." But then we had to go on camera, and then it's like, "Oh, slow. Oh, I love you, baby. Oh," and it's like,
He was really telling you he loves you.
well, it's part of the acting. You have to create the mood for all your
the character.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever fallen in love with any of your co-stars besides each other?
Falling in love, like in love, no. Because to us, they're our friends, and some of them they become really good friends, and we love them as friends because it's
our family.
Yeah,
We're a porn family.
It's
It's
a very
fraternal.
It's an underground industry, and we have to rely on each other. It's very cutthroat as well.
Yeah.
But do you guys feel like it can jeopardize your relationship in some regard if you're like, well, what was your ideal guy? You're not like him, or he sucks my dick much better.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so because we stabilized and cemented our relationship before we got into porn. So we know we love each other, and we have that basis. There's a lot of other porn star couples where they come and go just because they don't know what they want. They don't know how to be intimate aside from fucking.
Yeah. I also think the big part of it is that we're both doing the same thing. We're both doing porn. So we're going through the same motions. We can relate to each other. I think when there's one person doing the porn and the other one's doing a day job and has no idea, sure, they're going to get jealous like crazy. They're going to be like, "Hey, you're getting all this sex with this hot guy." They don't see that it's 8 hours to film a scene and we're ready to get away from them.
But do you ever get jealous of like, oh my God, I can't believe you get to do a scene with
All right,
him.
yes.
I'm so jealous.
Yes, I was very jealous one time. Diego Sands, he got to do a scene with Diego Sands. He's beautiful, beautiful. And I was like, I looked him up and I was like, I was jealous. I was like, "Give me all the details. I want to know what happened."
But that's the one time. But when we first started doing porn, Bill went straight into an exclusive contract that was booking him constantly, and I was working off. Periodically, I wasn't working as much as he was, so I didn't quite understand the industry in the context that he did. So the jealousy was a big issue for us at the beginning because. I wouldn't hear from him when he's filming. I was texting him, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on? Keep me posted." And at the time, he wasn't very reliable with his communication. So nothing was going on, but the fact that I felt left out. And I know that there's these other guys who I have idolized since I was a teen, and he's out there fucking around with them, hanging out, partying.
That must mess with your head.
It did. It did at first, but...
How'd you overcome that?
Well, I actually went down to a porn set with him and experienced his side of him working with his company. And I met everybody else because he was working on the West Coast, which at the time was very, very busy and very, very saturated with all the porn stars. And I was filming out in New York City, which, everybody's...
It's not necessarily a porn hub.
Yeah. But I went down to Los Angeles with him, and I sat at the house. I met everybody, and I realized, this is as chill as Bill was telling me. After I had calmed myself down, he had talked me down and everything. That it's work. You're having fun while you're fucking and everything, and you're joking around. But as far as like it being a hookup, where you're like, oh, this is so passionate. This is so sexy. It's that element wasn't there. It was in my head. So
Plus, I think his experience with his studio, because we both were in exclusive contracts when we started porn. So he was exclusive with Lucas, which flew you in and turned the trick and then sent you back home. Whereas my studio brought me down. We shot a couple scenes. They brought me down for a few scenes. So I was there for a week. And then afterwards, the director would barbecue for us at her house. And then all the porn boys would be there, and we'd just be drinking, hanging out.
Wait, you had a lady director?
Yes, straight woman director.
A straight woman directed
Yes.
gay porn.
there's a
Yes,
few
there's
in
a
the
few.
industry.
Wow.
What is it? Pornhub says that more women per capita, the more numbers buy gay porn than gay men do.
It's a fact.
So you guys are kind of like more famous with women than you are with men.
It's a fact.
Well, ironically, since the Grabbies is happening at this time,
Yeah.
most of the fans that we have encountered are all women, like flooding the elevators. Oh my god! Oh my god!
And for those people that don't know, the Grabbies are the Gay Porn Awards that are held here in Chicago over Memorial Day weekend.
So here's a question that every gay man gets asked, and you, Billy, tweeted this. Right? Everybody wants to see Mark and Billy.
Who's everybody? One person.
One
said
person.
this.
Well, we
Yes.
actually get asked that from time to time, and this is a question that every gay man sooner or later is going to ask themselves.
Yeah.
Should I do porn? Most say no, but you guys answered yes.
Can most gay guys do porn?
Should I do porn?
Most gay guys ask themselves this question: should I do porn?
What answer would you give?
and then
them?
I would say try it.
Yeah.
Try it. It's not for everyone. As far as porn the way it is now, it's not for everyone. It is work. You're going to go in, but I think it's a great experience.
Because porn's really the industry has really changed a lot in the past.
Totally.
In the past, because the internet's kind of it's opened markets up, but then it also too there's a lot of sharing of files too. So
I mean, if you think about who's buying porn, it's typically straight women in the Midwest who are buying the porn.
Oh wow.
The gay men aren't buying the porn, and you know the reason? Because they know it's not sexy. It's not turning them on.
No. So what are they looking at? Are they just
Well, they're
taking
looking at more of the dirty stuff, like Treasure Island Media and you know the raw sites, the more grittier sites, and everything.
Because I got to tell you, it's like, you know, I meet up with some of these young guys, and it's like these kids. Like, how old were you when you started watching porn?
when
Like the first time?
He's like 8.
Because you're how old now?
I am 24 now.
So you're 24 now.
And I first started watching porn when I was like maybe 12.
So 12, and it's like I hadn't seen like a porn until like I was like a gay porn until I was like 18
I'm
or
with
something
you
like
there.
that. And so it's like you meet up with these young guys, and it's like they've seen everything, and so they want to do everything. I'm like, at your age, how do you even know how to do that?
Yeah.
You know, it's just like amazed by that.
Yeah, my first experience with gay sex was in parks. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 39, so I came out in the early 90s, and we didn't go on the internet. We went to a bar or a park.
Yeah. How did you know about parks? Somebody just told you, or you
No,
just-
I was in college, and I was rollerblading home one day, and I just saw a bunch of people
Rollerblading.
I was rollerblading shirtless home one day from school, and this is in Pittsburgh, and there was these cars just cruising, and
you
a bunch of
from
people
Pittsburgh?
I went to school in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And these cars were just cruising this loop in the park, and then people were parked and hanging out, and I can tell they were gay. So I just did a loop on my skates, and then some old queen who's I call him my gay mother now, was like, "Hey, Twyla Twirl."
You know, it's so funny because you mentioned you went to school in Pittsburgh, and Faust and I were like, "Who does Billy look like? Who does Billy look like?" And then there's a journalist in Chicago that we're friends with, and you look like him. I don't want to say his name, and he's from Pittsburgh. So I was just
wow.
like in my mind, I'm like, "Or maybe they're related."
You'd be surprised how many people look like Billy, especially within the porn industry.
Oh yeah. Oh, handsome. Is that what it is?
Well, it's funny because my agent is dating a porn star, and they have a lot of strict rules as far as what he's allowed to do on camera. So one of his limits is he's not allowed to take any cum in the face. He's just not allowed. Well, this porn star looks like my little brother.
Oh,
Like, we look
really?
alike. And I did a shot where my head was turned to the side, and while the guy came all over my face, and then I proceeded to eat his cum.
Well,
And
what else are you
apparently
gonna do
he
with
was
it?
flipping out at him saying, I told you you're not allowed to come. He's like, that's Billy. I swear that's Billy. I was like, you don't even know what your husband looks
Oh,
like.
he's showing us a picture,
Oh,
Seth,
wow.
of the other guy.
Oh, Jimmy.
Right?
Oh my God.
Everyone
I
else
want
likes
Ji-
it.
I
So if
want
you want to
Jimmy's
see
number.
it, you can hold it up to the screen on
okay.
YouTube. We're actually recording this on YouTube too, so you can kind of see
Yeah,
it.
is it Jimmy Franz? Wow,
Jimmy,
sexy.
Jimmy fans is
Well,
my
him
little brother.
and then Adam Killian.
I get compared to Adam Killian a lot as well. He's
So
my
you-
older sister.
So you guys started out your porn career by just tweeting a porn of yourself.
Yeah, it was interesting because I come from a marketing background. And I figured, why not get the fans behind me first? So I created a Twitter, and it's known on Twitter, if you put XXX at the end of your name, people see you as a porn star. You're automatically labeled that way. So then
So if I change my Twitter handle to Fausto Fernos XXX,
they want to see some naked pictures, yes.
Oh,
Wow.
So I started loading up a bunch of naked selfies and then started putting up the clips I was taking of me and Seth having sex. And then men.com reached out to me and goes, who have you been shooting with? We're interested. And it was that quick.
Well, you see, and so now it's like, you look at these hookup apps and people are like, hey, do you have, like, one of the first things that before you used to do, you have a dick pic, do you have a face? Now everybody's one video.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's kind of like become a social space where we're entertaining each other with our own porn. Like I can make porn of myself and you can make porn of yourself and we can share it together.
Or we're all getting too desensitized and pics aren't enough anymore. Because I
Yeah.
remember we didn't need pics.
Yeah.
You didn't need pics. Now you need
Now you
everything
need
spelled
the
out.
stats.
They need to see you. They need to see how you hump and everything nowadays. It's crazy.
Where do you see this going? Well, how do you see this changing?
I feel like for me, and I've always said this, and I've said it publicly, porn is boring. I don't watch porn. I think it's always been boring in my eyes. It's overly directed, overly staged, overly lit. Like it's just not. It doesn't look real to me. I think people want something they can relate to. And these video clips that you're finding on the hookup apps, they're hot because they're real. You know that's happening. You know that guy is coming for real. He's not waiting an hour to come. Right. I have a little inside scoop because I work in porn, so I know it takes an hour to come or so. So I know there's an edit there, but you don't. But it just looks fake. I mean, if you watch porn and you see, let's just say it's a bareback porn, and have you seen them come inside? Or have you seen them come outside, then push it in?
That you want to see the cum shot because like people get thrilled psychologically. There is a thrill to seeing a guy squirt.
Well, that's not the reason they do it that way. The reason is because they can't come because they have to get close first to come. That means it's staged. If there's an
Well, I
internal
often wonder
cum
too. Is
shot-
like, can't you just have like a little packet underneath your hand and just
they
squirt some
do.
shit
That's
out?
one of the tricks.
Is it?
Thanks for spelling it out.
Is it?
Yes,
absolutely.
We asked another guy who wrote a book on porn. He wrote a little bathroom book on porn, and he said that like, no, that never happens. And I'm just like, in this day and age, well, you could CGI that stuff if you really wanted to.
Well, they don't have money for that.
so Andy Warhol had this cliche that in the future we're all going to be famous for 15 minutes, and our smartphones have turned us into certainly photo bloggers on Instagram and bloggers on Facebook and Twitter. Do you see then the next logical step is that we're probably all going to be porn stars in the future in some regard?
Sure, yeah. I bet you I could go onto the street and find anybody's phone, snatch their phone, go through their photos, and I'll find videos of them. They're out there. And my Tumblr and my Twitter is all porn, and I see all these people who aren't mainstream porn stars, but they're just filming themselves fucking around. So people are out there, and they're doing it already.
I think the key is the term porn star. There's no porn stars.
There's no
anymore.
such thing.
No. We either get paid for our work or we don't. We're all doing sex on camera.
So with the Jennifer Lawrence, what was that called? Something gate?
The frappening.
The frappening, when all these celebrities' naked sex pics, unretouched, let me mind you,
Lordy.
were leaked online, it started blurring the lines between what a porn star is and a Hollywood celebrity is.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of been happening for a while because, like, when you have these sex scenes in movies, you still see them naked and everything.
Yeah.
But there's always that. I think America, or maybe most countries, they have that weird mental issue with what is sex and what is, or what is vulgar and what isn't, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because you can simulate having a sex scene and that's fine, but as soon as you do porn, then oh fuck, oh, you're gross,
because it's not very often that you actually see a cum scene in in a regular movie. No. And the last one I think I saw was Stranger at the Lake, which was a French film, and it was like a French film noir murder kind of mystery.
That's the French.
But I was really surprised, that they actually had a cum shot in this movie. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, it was gay themed, but it got regular kind of limited release in the United States.
Well, that being French, because they're a little bit more open. But if you take HBO, like Game of Thrones, you'll see tits everywhere. But when was the last time you saw a hard dick on TV?
Never.
So there's a weird dichotomy and a double standard between porn and mainstream entertainment.
So the penis is the thing that we should not see on a man's body.
At least not hard.
Not hard.
Not hard.
What is the
penises are
women?
threatening.
What is the women's body part that we can't see it aroused in film? Or is that
Can you see them aroused?
They don't show their buttholes very often.
Oh yeah, buttholes.
That's true. Yeah.
You don't see like inside the vagina. You'll see like their little. muff.
They got to keep their legs closed?
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But yeah,
I feel like they're even pushing that limit now with the photos of what's the guy that did the National Lampoon's Vacation. He had
Chris
a hard,
Hemsworth?
even though it was fake, he had a hard dick. So they're starting to push the barrier.
So that was for comedic effect. But then you see all these,
Chris Pratt was naked in that Amy Poehler TV show.
Yeah, in Community, but they blurred
Parks and
that out.
Recreation.
They blurred it out.
But he actually taped that with a half boner.
Yeah, and I guess
that's why she was so stunned by it.
Yeah, and I guess he was supposed to wear a cock sock, and he got a letter from the HR saying, that's kind of considered sexual harassment if you do something like that.
But I think it's a sign of the times, and that's why you're seeing a lot of people videoing themselves, is they're feeling because of mainstream television. You're seeing people feel more comfortable with their bodies.
Well, also too, it's like you have the technology to do it now. It's like when I first got a hold of a Polaroid camera, what's the first thing I did? Is I took a picture of myself in the mirror, naked. And like, God, I wish I still had. Well, it would be kiddie porn today, but
with politicians losing their careers, most famously, I think it was Wiener. In New York State, right? We're starting to see more and more sex scandals with politicians getting caught because of their digital devices.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to a certain point where we're all guilty of that crime.
Yeah.
Well, they already are. It's just who gets caught.
Okay.
Like all these politicians, everybody has sex. Everybody has sex. So it's just so weird that we all know it happens, but people are so afraid of it, And a politician sending out his dick pic, to me, is no big deal because I'm already at the extreme. I'm already showing my asshole.
Exactly. We're at the extreme, so we're very liberal when it comes to that. But at the same time, there was just a train crash in Philadelphia where the engineer is gay, and they're trying to make the fact that he had dick pics on his phone an attack on his character.
trying to make that an issue.
Yeah, they're trying to make that an issue, but I haven't committed a crime. Go look through my phone.
Yeah.
Go look through anybody's phone.
But it's also kind of a hump for some people. It's like, in the beginning, Fausto, when he'd get his scruff or his grinder, he's just like, I'm not sending out he wants a dick pic. I would never send it. And then I'm just like, send the fucking dick pic. And he's just like, no. And then it's just like, doesn't take much to get your dick pic these days, does it, Fausto?
I mean, you have reservations in the beginning, and then as time goes by, and as more people are accepting of that behavior, you assimilate, and that's just how it is. That's how society is. I just think it's funny. It's come full circle because I can tell you, and in my scruff profile, it says I'm going to do bareback sex and I'm going to do a video of it. If you're not into either of these things, I'm not for you. And you know how many people reject me? Almost none. They're all willing to do it.
Wow.
Is that a concern for you guys? Because you're someone in this weird hybrid of a monogamous and polyamorous, monogamous relationship, polyamorous workplace.
Sure.
And how do you guys negotiate the use of condoms, for example?
I don't even know if we're in a monogamous relationship.
Yeah, where'd you get that idea from?
Well, we are open.
It was their brochure.
Oh, really?
I mean, we're married and we trust each other implicitly, but that's because we have a system set up. We have communication. We're 100% total honest with each other. We have our rules. We have our expectations. So we've worked everything out. Whereas most other couples, They try and be sneaky about it and whatnot. And that's where the issues arise. That they're not on the same page. We are. And as far as using protection and whatnot, like just from the nature of our work, we get tested all the time. And I have a medical background. I used to work in a nursing home. I'm going through nursing school and everything. So I understand STDs and HIV and everything, that, you know, you can use a condom and fuck somebody, but if you suck that dick, you're going to get gonorrhea or chlamydia in your mouth if they have it. The condom isn't going to do much for you. You know, HIV is still the big one you want to watch out for.
And now we have pills to protect against that.
The pills protect you. And it's...
Do you recommend all porn stars get on PrEP?
I wish we could, but that would take a lot. We'd have to unionize. We'd have to make porn legal, which it's still
You're
technically
forcing
considered.
someone to take a drug. Sure. I mean,
But I mean, do porn stars want to be on PrEP?
Yeah.
a lot
Most are, and most advocate for it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. So
Let's talk about your last name, Santoro. Did you guys choose this last name because it sounds a lot like Santorum?
I get that a lot. And being from Pennsylvania,
Santorum?
I know exactly who Santorum was, and I did not think anything of that. All I thought was, hey, I was on set, my first scene, and the director gave me a name, just like they do at Sean Cody. They pick your name for you. And were calling me Dimitri, and I wasn't answering him. And I said, look, you're going to have to call me Bill. Bill is what I go by in everyday life. And they're like, well, you don't want your real name, do you? And I said, well, then call me Billy, because I don't go by Billy. Okay, so he was calling me Billy, and he goes, well, do you want a last name? And I said, let's use my mom's maiden name, Santoro. Because I like Santoro. I like the Italian sounding name.
Oh, yeah. It's a sexy name.
What does your mom say about this?
I told her on Mother's Day when I went home to visit, because I don't go home to visit often. And I went home to visit, and I said, Mom, by the way, I'm doing porn. And she goes, oh, I knew. Your sister told me. And I said, I'm using your name. She goes, oh, yeah, I know. Just hope your grandfather doesn't Google it. And I said, I'm sure he already knows, too.
So she was really cool with it?
Yeah, they're very, very liberal and laid back.
I'm Googling right now just the word Santoro.
Oh, God.
And Matthew Santoro shows up first.
What a slap in the face.
Kind of
He's
porn does
very
he do?
handsome. He's some Hollywood actor.
So the trick for Google, if you want to find porn stars, you have to use their name, and you have to type in porn afterwards, and then you'll get all your
sometimes
results.
they'll block us.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this a good job to have?
I think long term, no. I know that, I mean, just like we're men, and men like variety, and just like your porn stars, you're not going to watch the same guy for 20 years. This is not a long-term deal. This is something to do. You'll make some good money, and then you have to have a plan. Use your money and make a plan.
So this is like being a drag queen on RuPaul's Drag Race. You only have like 3 or 4
You
years.
have your time where you're going to make some good money, and then you need to plan.
Okay.
Well, in this day and age, for like most people that do porn, do they make enough money from the porn, or is it really is porn really a calling card for their escorting business?
Ooh, I feel like in my opinion, a lot of porn stars do it to charge a higher escorting rate. Yes. Yeah. But I feel like if you're a workhorse like me, you can live off porn. You can. Okay. But it is still going to be dated. You're not going to, it's limited. So do what I did. And this is my advice to everybody out there. Get a degree, do about 10 years in the workforce, work on your body, then go into porn and check the box.
Okay.
But have fun with it. And then go back to what you want to do or change what you want to do. But porn does not last forever.
So do you feel like...
But is it hard to have a good body when you're working a 9-to-5 job at the Kentucky Fried Chicken? Or like it's hard to keep a good body and work a full-time job.
Chicken is protein. You can eat some Kentucky Fried Chicken and go to the gym. The thing is, you have to develop those habits early.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very hard to and it's just like anything. Even if you're doing porn,
sure,
you have to still. Gym is work. It should be part of your life. It's something you do. You treat it like a job. It's an hour I have to do a day. There's no getting around it. Mm-hmm. So I think that everyone has an hour a day they can do, and I don't ever listen to any of those excuses. I'm too busy with schoolwork. You can get up an hour earlier and go to the gym if you're committed enough.
Let's talk about boners. Boners on set.
Boners all the time.
I mean, because sometimes you're going to be with somebody that you might not be very attracted to, or somebody you're just like, there's people around, maybe you're gun shy. What do you do for boners?
Well, for me, my issue is always on the performance. So when you're thinking, okay, I need to look this way, I need to do this kind of, put out this kind of energy, you're not focused on your own self-satisfaction. You're focused on making other people come, not yourself. So it's kind of, you're not turned on. So with me, I have to do, and I have a prescription from a doctor called Trimix. And what I do is a small injection, and it keeps me hard for 4 or 5 hours, and I can get through the scene and focus on the important stuff, the performance, the direction I'm getting, listening to that, not worried about thinking about my fantasies so I can stay hard.
So that's how you guys keep from having Viagra face, the red.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot of porn stars use Viagra, and sometimes
It looks weird
you
sometimes,
see them
right?
on camera, they look like they have a different color skin altogether from the neck up.
Especially since it's
yeah.
such a white-dominated industry, you'll see it from right up here, just red, like they just dunk themselves in a bucket of.
Yeah.
Do they ever
rouge.
put like makeup on to kind of hide that Viagra flush? I don't think so.
Well, Viagra does a couple things to me. In my first scene, and I almost didn't think porn was for me because I couldn't get a boner. And I took Viagra and thought my head was going to pop off. Plus, my nose was running so bad, and the director was yelling at me while I'm sucking dick because I'm like sucking dick and I'm because I couldn't breathe.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, "You sound like a coke whore. We can't use this." And I was like, "Well, what the fuck? I can't breathe." And he goes, "And you're not even hard." And he's like, "Are you gay?" And I didn't really think porn was for me after that.
Okay.
And then, when I went to work for Lucas and they turned me on to Trimix, I was like, this is what works for me,
Because like it'll give you a boner no matter what.
no matter what.
So you don't even have to really be turned on, and all of a sudden you just have this boner.
You can do the injection and go make dinner, and you'll have a boner. I mean, food does turn some people on, but at the same time, you don't have to be mentally connected.
Yeah, there have been times where we get finished with the scene early and we're like, well, we have to take the train home, or let's go to the gym or something. We still have our boners.
What do you do for that?
You can take Sudafed, it'll put it down, but nothing happens immediately. So
Okay.
you're still going to have it for a little while. They say running on a treadmill helps, but if you've run with a boner before, that's uncomfortable. My favorite is just to sit in a hot tub because the heat will put it down. And it alleviates any kind of
Because it
pain,
opens
maybe.
up, it
Yeah.
dilates all the blood vessels,
Yeah.
so those things go on. Now, when you guys do a porn together, do you guys use the injectables as well, or is it just?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because it's a little harder to work with him because I'm a bossy bottom. He's a bossy top. So we have our different performance methods. So we kind of clash a little bit. And he likes to joke a lot on set. Like everybody loves him because he's got such a big personality. And I'm like, okay, I'm there. We can joke before or afterwards, but I want to get this shit done.
Okay,
And
you're
so,
focused.
Yeah, and so I'm sitting there.
I'm definitely a
and he's,
practical
like,
jokester.
joking off. I'm like, I'm on boner time. Hurry the fuck up.
Well, Seth, you have a beautiful baby face, and that can be more intimidating than like a handsome daddy type that Billy has.
Well,
maybe
I've been
somebody-
told I've had resting bitch face. I know that for
Resting
a fact.
bitch?
So.
Yes, he does. He
And
does.
most of my porn photos that come out, I'm like, I look angry as fuck. And I don't know.
Anger cells.
Yeah,
a
when
little
he's
bit.
not
Match.
smiling, it does look like he's mad.
Now, have you ever faked a cum shot yourself?
I have once.
How did you do it?
First, the reason I did it.
Okay.
I had to do a scene with a studio that is known, and everyone that hears this will know who it is if you're in the industry. It was 15 hours long, and they didn't finish. They reformatted the disc by accident, the tape, and lost half the scene. So I had to come back the next morning and film the last 3 positions and a cum shot. And then I had to go film an hour later with another studio because I already had that booked. So I rushed over and filmed with one of the biggest dicks in porn. What
was his name?
Boomer Banks. Okay. And I was getting fucked by him for 6 to 8 hours. And when your hole is that stretched open, it's very hard to flex your prostate to come. If you do come, it's just going to pour out. So I didn't even, I tried.
Squirt out.
No. So I didn't try. And the director already said, don't worry, we're just going to fake yours. I said, well, I want to come. If you're getting fucked that long, I want to at least have some release.
Yeah.
I tried, but my hole just would not shut to do it. I couldn't come. So what we did was we took some Cetaphil, which is the face cleanser, looks just like cum, and put it in a condom, tied it off, put a hole in the reservoir. You hold it underneath your dick. They film from the top, and you just squeeze it, and it shoots.
Sweet.
I'm gonna try that one out. This is groundbreaking.
So in your personal life, if you bring home someone drunk, you keep the lights off, and you want them to leave, do doggy style. Have your reservoir condom already ready. Pull it out and just squirt it on his back. It's a little cold.
Okay.
Maybe he won't pick up
And
on
so
it.
it's a little needle prick in
There's
there.
a needle prick there.
And then you just.
Yep. You
And
just
then
squeeze
there
it.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
I'm not going to tell you how many takes we had to do to get it to not go sideways.
So, Seth, you tend to be more Sean Cody, and Billy, you tend to be more Falcon. Or
A raging stallion.
Raging Stallion.
Falcon doesn't do hair.
Do you guys, is it hard for you guys to get booked together as a couple to do adult films?
Is it hard? At this point, I would say it's going to get a little harder just because we already have a few scenes with different studios and different styles out there already. I think we'll be able to do a few more if they're like group scenes or threesomes or whatnot, just because then the focus isn't totally on us.
Yeah, I think a lot of studios wanted to capitalize on the real love, the real couple, because a lot of blog comments they don't even look into each other. They know we're into each other. So I think a lot of studios wanted to capitalize off that. But us as a couple, we're bored with doing a scene together. We want to have a three-way. We want to have a gangbang on Seth. Like, we want to do things that are outside the box or things that are more indicative of our real life. Like, that's what I want to do. I don't want to do another one-on-one with my husband on camera.
Well, do you feel that doing a movie together or being paid to have sex with each other in front of a video camera sort of like changes your relationship to some regard? Because I know that for Mark and I, doing this podcast together, it does affect our relationship to work all the time doing a program together.
Well,
Sure.
I think what happens is that because we have such different performing styles, that I'll hear about it for the rest of the night of how I joke around too much, and I'll say, "Well, you're too serious." And then I think in that respect, it affects us when we work together because we're just different performers. But other than that, I don't think it really affects our relationship.
No, I mean,
on any
it's
other
just
level.
kind of like, it's not like I'm upset about it and I'm angry and furious. No, it's like, we could have sped things up a little, but that's fine. But
we could be at the pool by now.
There's a difference between us and you guys because you do this all the time. Our scenes are far and few in between. Like, it happens
once every couple months
once
for 8
every
hours.
few months.
Well, when you guys are having sex with each other now, do you say, we should be filming this?
No, we say, let's get done so we can go eat. And it's funny, it's ironic because we can fuck on camera for 8 hours and not come. But with my husband alone in a room, I come in 5 minutes. Like,
They say on average, most guys come within like 2 minutes.
if I make it to 5 minutes with my husband alone, it's a good day.
Honey, if I want to come fast, I would look at Seth's porn and then I'd be coming in 5 minutes.
Right.
Too.
So let's talk about some of like the because before we started recording, you were talking about some of the people that were like into certain fetishes that are your fans, and you were talking about sheer stockings, men's
yes.
stockings.
we have this one fan who it's almost like his life to just have sheer socks in every single porn. He hits up studios on public social media saying, "Why don't you have sheer socks? You should have sheer socks. Take off the shoes.
Like kink BDSM.
Yeah, studios that don't focus on that at all." And he's sent us sheer socks because he knows that we've worked with different studios that do suit scenes and everything, and we've used
Excuse
them.
me, what is a sheer sock?
Oh,
for people?
sorry.
I
It's
don't
like
know
men's
what that
dress
is.
sock.
Yeah.
That's kind of sheer.
It's
Okay.
almost like pantyhose.
It's not pantyhose, though.
No, it's kind of the same material where it's just very thin, and it's almost to the point where you could tear it if you wanted to.
It's what Daddy wears when he goes to the bank.
Yes.
And
Okay.
there's different versions of it for different levels of fetish, I guess. You have the basic ankle.
It's
and then you have,
executive wear.
yeah, and then you have ones that go way up past your knees, and they're still
I
men's
didn't know
socks.
that.
Those are more fetish though. If they go
Yeah.
up past the knee, that's
Yeah.
fetish. If they go to like mid calf, that's like business
And
executive
then they even have
stuff.
garter belts to hold up your socks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
very
think
old.
those
That's
are
very like
sexy.
Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. I think he wears.
And
those
I
things,
wore
yeah.
them in a scene before, yeah.
Well, I like them because they make the calf pop.
Yeah.
They feel good though too, don't they?
Yeah.
That sheer material feels really fun.
But what I do is I try to, like, this guy, he's a fan, so you want to honor your fans. And you want to try, in every scene, you want to try to get new fans. So there's fetishes. I may be doing a one-on-one, I don't want to say boring, but it's boring duo where it's just 3 positions come. There's no fetishes involved. And I'll lick his feet while I'm fucking him because there's people that have foot fetishes. I'll try to incorporate different fans that I don't have. And sheer socks, I'll ask to wear them. I'll be like, can I just wear them when I have to wear it? Because everyone wants to put me in a damn suit. And then I'll be in a suit and I'll finally get it off and I'll have the socks on. They're like, all right, remove the socks. I'm like, no, I'm just going to leave them on because I have fans that like them. They're like, oh, okay. And then I might take it off while I'm fucking and put it on the bed and then come on them or something like that.
Yeah.
So the socks are really important, or they zero in on an object that they can objectify?
Yeah.
Basically. And, it's kind of a blessing in disguise to have your fans who approach you publicly to say, hey, can you just do a little something extra for me? Because it pushes you as a performer. Because if you're just vanilla, all you do is fuck, suck, and come, okay, anybody can do that, but there's a lot of other porn stars who have limits, who won't lick armpits, who don't do spit, who won't rim or anything like that. And
Can we go back to our scene together?
well, no, what are you talking about?
I use our scenes to get things I like to do that he won't let me do. Because he won't stop me on camera.
Clever girl.
I'll lick those armpits when he's not looking on camera.
Let's talk about the gay for pay guys. What's it like working with some of those gay for pay guys? Because there's a lot of them in gay porn,
There are.
right?
What's your system?
You know what? It's kind of hit and miss with each and every one. Like some of them, you have them who are just so standoffish and so just grossed out by.
What the fuck are they doing there then?
They're
Money.
there for the paycheck.
Is it that much money that they're willing to do something they don't really
It's
like?
enough for them. That's why they're there.
Or do they use it as an excuse to have the gay sex?
If you think what most rents cost, you can make that in one scene.
Okay.
So they have work once a month.
But there are other straight porn stars who say they're straight, but they actually love this shit. Like they don't take Viagra, they don't do Trimix,
And
they
they're
don't look
hard.
at porn, and they're just so into it. And they'll like be standoffish and pretend like, oh yeah, I fucked this flight attendant last night. I took her home to my apartment. You're like, bitch, you were just rock hard drooling over me while I was on my back and you were fucking me. So. It's a way for some of these guys to kind of explore themselves
And this is where I go into like, what is your method? Because what I do is I walk in and some studios will seek out the gay for pay. Other studios won't. So I know by which studio I need to ask. I'll ask them, so are you straight or gay? And they'll say, I'm straight. All right, what are your limits? And he was like, oh, I don't have any limits. I said, all right, I'm going to fist you. And I just go for the gold. And they're like, oh, no, I'm not into that. I said, so tell me what you don't do.
Okay.
Because when I'm in the motion and
Right.
when I'm performing,
my hand might just slip right up
when I'm
there.
performing, I'm trying to pick one fetish during each position to do that may not be part of the scene. And it may offend you. Like I did a scene with Johnny Rapid, and he is a straight guy. Everyone thinks he's gay, but he's not. And he doesn't kiss. Well, I kiss, and I'm bigger than him, and I'm going to kiss you.
And
So
part
what
of that,
did he do? What happened?
He just pulled back and shut his mouth. And I was like, trying to kiss him, and he just pulled back, but they just edited that part out completely. So
Now, do the gay for pace guys, do they get paid more than the gay guys? Do you know?
it depends on the studio.
Okay.
Because for some studios, that is the fetish,
Okay.
And in order to get these straight guys to do what you want, you got to put the right price tag on that stuff. And there are some porn stars who are straight and eventually bottom towards the end of their career just to kind of get another spike in popularity, and then they'll get paid double their normal rate just to bottom.
Yeah.
And they have a price tag on that too. So
yeah. It's interesting because I've worked with a lot of gay for payers, and I have no problem is you're gay for the 8 hours you're with me. And I will do whatever I'm going to do. Because I've gotten to the level in my career where I can be like that. When I first started, I was scared. I was like, this guy has his phone on my lower back watching pussy fucking me. I was like, I feel so gross right now. I feel like
Hold on a second. So you're
I feel like
having
this
sex
dude
with
is
this
not
guy.
into me.
Billy, you're having sex with this guy, and his cold iPhone is sitting on your back,
On my lower back doggy style.
so you can look at some chick.
While he's fucking me. And then, because this is during the part where they say, okay, let me know when you're close to coming. So he put his phone on my lower back, starts watching the pussy, fucking me. He's like, I'm close, swats his phone across the room, pulls out, comes on my back. And I'm like this. Are you close, Billy? Not at all. I said, I'm going to need him to leave the room, then I can get close.
Oh, wow. So a lot of the times that we see you guys coming is sometimes creative editing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say 90% of the time.
Have they ever used CGI like to compost the two people into the same scene?
No, I think they could
think so.
definitely use that.
Could use? I mean, it could
I mean,
be
the
done.
future of porn is probably CGI, I would imagine.
We got some great questions from our listeners on Facebook, facebook.com/Feast of Fun. You can follow us on social media and be the first one to ask our guests questions. We usually tape in the afternoons or evenings. You can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Feast of Fun, and of course, facebook.com/Feast of Fun. The first question comes from Vice Squiggly Bones. I want to hear some horror stories. What are some horror stories that have happened to you in the business?
Horror stories.
Well, I'll tell two real gross ones. Well, there was this one, I did a casting couch scene, and this kid was 18 years old, had never done porn. I don't think he even really had a lot of sex before. Didn't know how to douche, so you know where I'm going with this. But he was like 5'6", 120. Like, where was it coming from? Like, every time I pulled out, it was like, chocolate ocean. So I at the point where
He was pooping on you. On you.
like worse, like
Maybe that was
ocean,
his fetish.
like ocean. So it was
Diarrhea.
So you understand it. When you do porn, all this shit can happen.
Literally.
It happens. You don't get upset about it. So I said to him, he ran in the bathroom to douche and was in there for an hour. So the director finally came to me and was like, he's really embarrassed. And I said, well, let me go talk to him. So I went in there and I said, I've shit on so many people. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. They're going to edit it out. It's not going to be in the movie. I said, what are you doing? Show me what you're doing. And then he showed me what he's doing. He's like putting like 4 fleets up his butt at once. I said, you're killing.
Overdoing it.
You're getting the devil out. You're not douching. You need to just do one or two. Let it go. Relax a minute, let it go. I wasn't going to joke around with him because he was having a bad day, but I've joked around with other people before, telling them they had to jump up and down and stuff like that to get it to mix. Because I am a practical jokester.
Andreas wants to know, what kind of morals do you experience from people when they get to know you do porn?
What kind of judgment? I think they
Judgment?
meant to say.
It's all across the board. Some people, they're very judgmental, like, ooh, girl, or they don't even acknowledge the fact. Because us moving to DC, Bill has a big history there. Like, before porn, he kind of, it's his old stomping grounds. He was very A-lister there. So when we came back, people already knew what we were doing. And I don't know anybody, but they had already prejudged me because I'm married to Bill and he brought me back home. And I'm
So you're a
doing
kept
porn.
woman.
Yeah. And DC is very conservative. It's the land of politics anyway. So there are people who, at my job, they're like, oh, my daddy shut off my credit card because I went and I bought out too much alcohol for all my friends at the bar. I'm like, girl, what could be worse? You could be selling your hole and paying for all that other shit. So I purposely push them to try and make them feel uncomfortable. Just because I know these people are the same ones who won't give me the time of day if I was just nice and talking to them. So
Yeah, I get, because I mean, it's unique to DC. We live in a different kind of culture where a lot of people don't admit what they do.
Sexually speaking.
Especially. So people know who I am, and when they refer, and I do have a history in DC. So if they use my real name, Bill, I know that they know me. But if they say, "Oh, Billy, I don't watch your porn,"
Then you know.
yeah.
well, my name's not Billy, so you watch my porn.
Joan Waters wants to know, do you like drag queens?
Like, we're obsessed.
You're
We're
obsessed.
obsessed.
Now, this is a great question, great story. I don't know if you feel comfortable telling me about this. Before you got in the business, Billy, you ran a gay bar in DC.
Yes.
And you booked some RuPaul's Drag Race girls.
Yes.
One of them had it in a contract that she had to make out with you with tongue.
Yes. Back in the day, I owned a gay bar in DC, and the RuPaul Drag Girls, this is season 1, season 2, didn't know what to charge for booking because they were all only done local stuff.
Sure.
So local queens make $150, $200 a gig, if that. And I said, what is your rate to this queen? And she's like, 200 plus travel and accommodations and a good wet kiss.
Like what kind of hit? Like she actually in the contract said tongue?
A good wet kiss.
And who was this queen?
This queen was Pandora Box.
Ooh, girl, we put it on blast.
And did you give her the kiss?
And I gave her a kiss at the end of the night, and I also gave her more money than she asked for.
Oh,
That's so nice of you.
Yes, she was amazing.
Considering it's Pandora.
Of all the queens,
I'm kidding.
of all the queens I've booked, she was the best.
Really?
The best, drew the biggest crowd, and was the most entertaining.
I remember when Pandora first performed here in Chicago, and it was like she was the Beatles, like a rock star. You know, when Drag Race first hit it big, it was unbelievable.
Well, if you
wasn't
think
it?
about it, she's the first real camp queen that came out.
Yeah.
Of that franchise.
That's true.
So, and she didn't get a chance to show anything because of the challenges she was dealt. Because
Do you think-
season 2 was still very much
was
about
raw.
looks.
Yeah.
Is masculinity important? I guess maybe that's what Joan might be also wanting to know. Like, in an ideal sexual partner for you guys, is masculinity relevant?
Not at all.
Interesting.
Not at all. We're both
Interesting,
we're both-
Marcus, in that. Well,
I may have a deep voice, but I'm a big old girl.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a big sissy.
I go to the gym in booty shorts and all pink and
Yes.
everything, and I dance around.
He does. And,
So.
and you know, and one thing in porn is my biggest critique, my biggest what fans bitch about me the most is my voice. They're like, he's so hot, he's so masculine until he opens that mouth. And you know what? That's who I am, and that's what I present, and that's why I have a huge social media following. I give them what I really am. I don't put up an act. It's not a character. So people feel connected to me. That's why I have a huge following. I let people into my life, into
How
my
big
marriage.
is your following?
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say,
They all know.
I want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. I know you guys have been listening to this show since you were children yourselves,
They're babies.
which is 2 years ago.
Right?
And, you know, for Cooking with Drag Queens, when we did that Kickstarter, it was really vital for our audience to not only donate, but to get the word out. And Billy, you did an extraordinary job of monetizing your base to helping Cooking with Drag Queens come to life. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. I wanted, you know, it was selfish in some level. I wanted to see the show. You know, I
hope you like it.
We're obsessed. We're obsessed. We are obsessed with drag queens, and to be able to get, you know, it's not just a cooking show. You get the personality. You get the behind the scenes. You get what they go through. It's not just making a meal, and that's what makes the show. So, I mean, this could be on the Food Network. Yeah.
You know, I have to say, though, I want to follow the queens for a longer period of time. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like we're almost wrapping up with season 1. One of the queens we're for sure going to be doing is Katya.
Yay! I'm so excited for that. And no, we're not making Russian food. She said no Russian.
No
She wants Russian
food.
borscht.
I'm going to do something with beets for her for sure. But do you guys have any recommendations on what we should cook with Miss Zamolodchikova?
Oh, Lordy. Something with vodka sauce, because she's not allowed to have it. Spike her.
I don't think that'd be a good idea. But
Does she drink at all or no?
no, she's in complete sobriety.
Complete sobriety.
Yeah.
Okay, because I know she had a little problem with the, you know, that stuff. But I'll watch a red carpet interview with her to get that one.
her what is it? Her catchphrase this season is
She is definitely the most entertaining queen on this season.
Do you think
I'm
she won in some regards? She won, didn't
Yeah,
she?
she's a total standout in comparison to everybody else. Just
Yeah,
because,
I don't know what that was about. Like, I was disappointed. Like,
Yeah.
she
This-
jumped off the stage and did a split, but she did a split too after a cartwheel. Like, I feel like there was some favoritism there for me.
yeah.
You know?
Well, either way, both of them got eliminated.
Yeah, well, I feel like the second one was deserved. I think RuPaul was mad at her
Yeah, why?
for wearing that dress and not having it a tearaway, knowing she had to lip sync. She couldn't move in it, and she knows her strongest abilities to dancing. So I think RuPaul was pissed she didn't get a show out of it. And that's why she sent her home.
And that's why she sent her home.
Yeah.
Well, also too is you know, Pearl is super cute and the kids love it, and Violet is very popular, and it's like they did a comparison on Twitter, like who's popular, and it goes Pearl, Violet, and the Gingers.
But they always have a villain in the top 3. I thought Kennedy would be that villain.
Yeah,
Violet was doing a pretty good job.
She was really, I think she's actually probably pretty happy with how her edit turned out, because the girls are like, she is tough. And they're like, oh my gosh, they're editing her to be nice.
Wow.
So what you saw of her being a bitch was her being nice.
That's what I thought. I thought she was being.
But she's young. She's a kid. I
thought she was fine, just introverted.
Mature.
Like she doesn't socialize well.
So who are you rooting for? Who's going to win?
I'm rooting for Pearl, but I think Ginger Minj is going to win.
Okay.
I want Ginger to win, but I don't think she will.
Aaron?
I think the same thing. Just the way that the season has been going. Like what should be happening is not what's happening. So
you guys want Ginger to win, but you think Pearl's
I want Pearl to win.
You want Pearl to win.
I think
you'll be pleased. I think Pearl's going to take it.
Yeah,
because she was at the lowest and made the biggest comeback.
She has more of the storyline throughout everything. So.
And you want her to win.
Is it possible to lose at RuPaul's Drag Race at this point in the game?
No.
If you go away before Snatch Game,
If people forget about you, then
Yeah, I think if you go away before Snatch Game, your marketability is not there. Mm-hmm. I think if you're definitely after that, you're going to make your 15 minutes.
What can a drag queen who won't ever get on RuPaul's Drag Race learn from your experience as porn stars? You gotta do it yourself, guys.
Yeah, you have to use your tools. The social media is out there. You can build yourself. You can be just as big as these girls. No problem.
Yep.
I was bigger than anyone. I haven't even shot a scene yet. You can do it. And it's just... it takes time. You have to check that Twitter constantly. You have to upload crap constantly.
But do you feel like there's a certain feeling like, I don't have to be any good if I'm on Drag Race, or I can suck some more?
But people catch on to that quick. As being a former bar owner and booking people, I was like, these girls suck. I'm not booking any of them anymore. Because they get up there and lip sync. Well, my local queens lip sync and jump off the stage and run up on the bar and give everyone shots. Like, that's entertainment. Coming out for a 2-minute song and then disappearing is not entertainment. And I think that when they get on some of the girls that get on the race don't realize that you have to use all talents to be bookable after the race.
On our YouTube channel, Cooking with Drag Queens is underway, and Tranica Rex is doing extremely well. We've sort of been following...
She has a cute butt.
It's not a competition, but it is in some regard, so you can see the views, And Tranica got 2,000 in the first day.
Oh, wow.
Which is really, really good for not being a Drag Race girl. And everybody... just is crying, why doesn't Drag Race just green light Tranica? Why do they force these queens to audition?
Does she audition all the time?
She has not.
A lot of good queens. This is why we did Cooking with Drag Queens.
They look down on the show, don't they?
It's just hard.
Some of the good queens that I know, or they're either too busy working to do all the work to get on the show.
And that too.
Or they just look down on it. I know bars that won't book RuPaul girls.
Really?
They won't. Because they feel like it's a slap in the face to local girls, so they won't book them.
Or they can't afford their prices.
That's what I think it is.
Because I got to tell you,
$2,500.
If you're a drag queen and you want a career in drag, it really at this point in time, it's the way to jump your career up and exposure. Because once you're on TV, people they just love you for whatever, and you see it like if you put a local girl up against a drag queen girl, the drag queen girls, the local girls just aren't going to make the same booking fee, and then when they're up on stage, they're not going to make the tips that the girls make from that. It's crazy.
True. But what I've noticed too from booking some of the queens is that you get on the show, but you have to showcase something. You have to do something. You have to stand out. You can get on the show and get that instant exposure, but you have to follow through, or you'll get those bookings for a little bit, but then it's going to be done because the word's going to get around.
This is an odd question, and maybe you guys have an answer for this. Joe Fitzrick wants to know, what's Brad Pitt like?
Well, what was it?
Is there a porn star named Brad Pitt or something?
No. Brad Pitt's married to Angelina Jolie, so to assume that I would know him is
Wasn't there like an article that just came out
that
there's an article that just came out that he rejected a porn star because he was too pretty. I think straight up gay porn.
He rejected you.
Was that you?
No, not me.
I don't want to put your business on blast, but do you guys have some like A-list Hollywood types calling you and asking you
I wish.
for a indecent proposal?
No.
That
We
means,
know that there's.
We live in DC,
Now,
remember.
people, I want you to go on YouTube, youtube.com/VistaFun, watch this video and look at their body language, the way they reacted to that question.
Well, because we know they're out
lying.
there. No, that's not true. We know they're
Tom
out
Brady
there.
in her song "Stunning," she mentions like a Brad and Angelina or something like proposition.
They have a
her for
reputation.
something or
Yeah.
other.
Some of them do. Like
Yeah.
when we were living in Los Angeles, all the other local porn boys, there was a lot of gossip about a lot of A-listers who actually had agents to go out and hunt for boys,
Yeah.
pretty boys, for their own little private parties.
Yeah.
and
I met a guy
whatnot.
who just went to one of Brian Singer's parties.
Oh, Lord.
And
That
I
must have been a good time.
Stories I heard.
And he
There
was recruited from a bar, right?
He went with a bunch of strippers. They all just went to the party. And from what I understand, he told me that there was like one of the guys that recruits for Brian, allegedly, he had his little posse in like one little area of like muscle boys. And then there was other boys for Brian that were very young appearing.
Twinkies.
Very, very young appearing. And then at some point in time, both groups disappeared into different parts of the house.
That's
So-
called the witching hour.
Jeez.
Now, that's just the story I heard. I can't verify anything. It may not be
Yeah,
true.
I mean, we get hit up. I mean, we don't know because once in a while we'll do the escorting thing in DC, and politicians hit us up. They're like, "How discreet are you?" I don't even respond because half the time I don't feel like doing it. But,
Yeah.
but I mean, when the first thing they say is, "How discreet are you?"
Save the DNA.
You know?
Right? Save the DNA. Especially if it's like somebody like Lindsey Graham or one of those.
I mean,
closeted
I had
ones.
one regular for a little while. I didn't know who he is because politicians don't stand out to me. All he said to me was, "I work on the Hill, and what's between us is between us." And it was very simple. He came over, came in 10 minutes, left my money, and left. And then one time I asked him, I said, "So where do you live? What do you do?" You know, and he goes, "I work on the Hill," which I told you, "and I live in the suburbs. And you're the only reason I can go home to my wife on weekends."
Aw, isn't that sweet?
I said, "So I release your energy so you don't bitch at her."
Did you ever find out who he was or what he
No,
did?
he doesn't see me anymore.
You probably don't want to. You'll
probably
wind up
don't
in a
I raised
CIA
my rate.
prison or something.
So I'm assuming he's Republican.
Robusta Cap, when are you guys getting married?
We are.
You are married.
Yes.
What was the ceremony like?
Oh God, quick.
Yeah. Well, when was it?
It was a while ago.
Now, when you guys got married, you changed your porn star names.
Yes.
This is
But
true.
you kept your birth certificate names the same.
It was two-folded, I think, because Seth was in a horrible contract with a producer, and he was under the name Seth Treston at the time. And by changing the name, it was also a sign of him having a clean slate in porn.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. Plus,
You became a virgin again.
Basically, I rebranded myself. I reinvented myself.
yeah. So, and then also I looked at what it would take for us to either of us to change our last name, and I was like, I don't have time for all that.
It's not worth it. You are who you
Yeah.
are.
Has this experience changed the way you guys think about your bodies?
Definitely.
Big pause.
No, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to gather my thoughts about why, but
Do you like your bodies more or less?
I'm more comfortable with my body. I mean, doing porn, it's a multi-part thing because I'm doing porn, and in order to do porn, I also have to train very hard at the gym, which is a very intimate experience with myself, and plus sex and learning about myself and what turns me on, what do I like, you know, how does my body respond to certain things, what can I handle, what can't I handle. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. For me, being a hairy boy, it's very challenging for me in some scenes because I'm with these cute muscles, sculpted, smooth, which is what all the porn I've ever seen in my life was that look. And then I'm in here, and then when I see the final video, I'm like, ugh, I look like this huge contrast to them. And then the first thing I'll do is I'll say, "Seth, I'm too hairy. I'm going to go shave." He goes, "You're going to hate it. Don't shave." Because every time I do that, I'm miserable. I'm like, "Oh, I miss my hair. Oh, this is awful." I look
Hair is sexy, but
You have a gorgeous hair.
Yeah.
Will you just pull your... I mean, look at that. Oh, it's a carpet of heaven.
between him and the cats and
and all the cum that gets splashed on there.
and trust me, they're for days picking it out.
Thank you so much for taking time from you guys' really super crazy busy schedule to tape this with us.
Our pleasure.
Definitely. It's something. This was on our bucket list. Definitely. This was not getting canceled. So I even said that we'll skip the hydrate party tonight. We're doing this.
Well, you can do both.
You can do both. I want you guys to. We usually try to encourage the listeners to subscribe and to buy a T-shirt. So you guys listen to the podcast so much. Why don't you encourage them? Tell
Totally.
them.
Well, I mean, like we said before, I've been listening since 2006. I mean,
You were 16?
I was 16.
Wow, I'm sorry.
Put that disclaimer up.
Well, I mean, you get so much things from your guys' podcasts that you can't find anywhere else. I mean, you can't go to a library and pick up a book on a lot of the facets of gay history that you guys talk about or culture. There's no textbook I can buy. And you guys are a great outlet because you guys bring in these very important people in our culture and teach everybody essentially. So it was great for me. And so I thank you guys for having me here and Billy.
How thankful are you?
So thankful
let's turn
that
off these mics now.
I'm going to head to Feast of Fun /store and get my not shaven gives me more time for misbehaving shirt.
Yeah.
Because I gave mine away to one fan who was like begging me for it at one of my live events. And I told him this is where you can get it, but he couldn't even see at that point.
I hope you got a good price for it.
Oh, I gave it to him.
Oh, okay.
It was all sweaty. And I was
Funny.
like, he's like, can I have it? Please, I have it. I said, oh God, if you take it, can you go away? But yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I encourage everybody to go up and subscribe for A+ account. We did. It's fantastic. You get everything, all the juicy.
Yeah, you don't get the good
celebrities,
podcast
drag
if you're not a Plus member.
queens. Yes, it's
Like this one.
well,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, you're also paying for the convenience of being able to subscribe with your cell phone to all the shows.
Yeah.
So you can actually sync up all these audio programs because some people are only YouTube
Yeah.
people, and they don't realize there's this whole ocean of content waiting for them.
And you don't
You've just
understand-
been sipping at the cocktail.
And you don't understand when you can listen to this podcast. I listen to it when I'm douching for a scene. Like you can always listen to these. When we travel so
Really?
much, I put them all on my phone, and then I'm good for an 8-hour trip. I listen to the podcast all the time.
Well, when we moved from Los Angeles to DC, we drove cross country in a little smart car that I bought, and it was nothing but Feast of Fun podcast the whole way over.
Yes.
So
I
That's
am
very
deeply
sweet.
moved and very touched by your testimony.
Can I have a hug?
I know. I was like,
of course.
well, guys, thank you so much for listening. We're going to wrap this up. So we are taking a little bit of time off because of Memorial Day weekend, and but we'll be back very soon. So don't delay, and please share the shows with your friends and family. Educate them, inform them, and make life happy for each other.
Oh yes,
Yes.
agreed.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
everyone.